This conference will now be recorded.
Welcome, everybody. I'm Debbie Weems, founder of DW Consulting Solutions. We're really happy to have you join us today for this 30-minute webinar, something that we've really enjoyed doing over the past couple of years, and we hope you gain a lot of tips and actionable items today. I'm going to introduce my partner in crime here, Davy Gabbard, my Vice President of Operations.
Hi, everybody.
She has been an awesome teammate for over 5 years. And we also want to welcome Beth Wagmeister, who is just wonderful as an ASL interpreter to help us be more inclusive in our community. So welcome, everybody. I'm going to ask you to stay on mute, please. And if you do have questions during the webinar, we're doing something new today. You can enter them in the chat box, and time permitting, we will address those at the end of the webinar. And as always, if you're on the registration list, you will receive a replay link with accompanying materials or any reference documents at some point after the webinar. So thank you again. We're going to get started. Can you advance for me, Davy, please?
Sure. There you go.
Okay, so briefly, I know a lot of you have already attended one of our webinars in the past, but we do like to explain our model in the use of LinkedIn the way that we see best. And we develop a know, like, and trust philosophy. It's just not appropriate to get in front of your target and immediately assume that they want whatever it is you have to offer. We are all on LinkedIn to sell. We are definitely looking for prospects and so forth. But relationship building is important. You have to build that know, like, and trust first. And it starts with your profile. So it actually starts with your headshot, but more on that some other time. We want to create that know, like, and trust. And with a completed, optimized profile, you can show up more often in searches and at the top of those searches if you know where to put all those important keywords. But this is the first step to establishing a relationship with perhaps a total stranger who found you based on the search they did. Personalized invitations to connect are always going to serve you much better than just hitting connect and letting it fly out with no verbiage. We also are very strong advocates about not selling before it's time. So please, please, please do not extend invitations that start blabbing about what you have and just assume the person getting it wants to buy from you. And if you're a total stranger, that's just not going to happen. So don't pitch out of the gate, build that relationship first, and engage in a way that brings value. We are all about providing, informing and educating with the posts that we do, and you'll see that as you connect with us and get familiar with our tips. And Davy is going to tell you a little bit more. Take it away.
Sorry, I was muted. I was brilliant too. You missed the best stuff. As we kick off the webinar, I always like to do a mindset reset and just give you a little context in which we're going to share these tips with you today. And in general, I love the mindset reset as a way to start your day, start your week, start your month, start the quarter, start the year. We want you to understand that this picture of balance is what a lot of us are looking for in our work and our life, our personal professional careers, and also in the context of this webinar, ending calendar year 22 and starting 23 strong. But that requires you to plan and execute. These are not mutually exclusive activities by any stretch of the imagination. Your balancing act probably looks a little bit more like this. We have multiple competing priorities, and we like to fool ourselves into thinking that we can multitask. There's a link at the bottom of the slide with some interesting information on multitasking. It's a myth. We can't really do it, and our attempts to do it are really hurting our brains and shortening our attention spans. So we suggest you focus on one task at a time, And in the context of this webinar, I know it may sound disingenuous for a webinar talking about the end of 2022 and the beginning of 2023. I'd like to recommend you throw out the calendar. The calendar is effective for us to the extent that it gives us some organization around our space and some structure. But to the end, that's it. If you find that calendar gives you stress, just use it as needed and as as you have to, but try not to be too invested in anything that causes stress or rigidity, especially during the end of the year, at the beginning of the new calendar year. So throw that calendar out, especially if it stresses you. And then what we want to encourage you to do is make evaluation an ongoing process. I know a lot of us, especially in larger corporate organizations, we do goal setting and budgeting, and then we'll do goal setting for our employees. But maybe you only look really back at that when it's time to do the performance appraisal again. And that's just really not the right way to manage tasks or people. So make that evaluation an ongoing process as you're on that teeter-totter from execute, plan, assess, execute, assess, tweak your plan, execute, assess, tweak your plan. Okay, number 2, KPIs, get some. If you're a small business, Debbie and I can certainly understand and appreciate this, no value judgment, but for small businesses, frequently execution, getting it done, close to on time, close to on spec, and hopefully on or under budget. That is frequently our measure of success, especially when we're moving as quickly as we are moving now. Time just seems to go faster and faster. With respect to LinkedIn, there are some important metrics for you to track in LinkedIn. This will help you assess how well your LinkedIn efforts are going. That would be things like your followers and your connections, your search appearances, and your post views. We'd really like you to focus on connections and search appearance first, because that really tells you if you're doing the work and if your profile is compelling and people are wanting to connect with you. The statistics that are provided in your dashboard, your analytics for LinkedIn, are run on a weekly basis, Tuesday through Tuesday. The stats roll over on a weekly basis. So we suggest you give the database time to be updated and look at your statistics on Wednesday, maybe Thursday morning, and track them. And we will provide a simple tracking spreadsheet for you to get started in the reference materials for this webinar. And let's see, number 3, resolutions. My first recommendation is you resist the urge to overindulge this year end in everything: alcohol, carbohydrates, and New Year's resolutions. Why? Because they don't work. Usually they're not realistic. You'll see a lot of content on internet in this next several months about how to keep your resolutions. That's because nobody does. Not nobody. Very few people do. Usually because they're too ambitious, and that's a really tough time of the year to make incremental changes. So why would you set yourself up for failure so you can just feel bad about yourself? If you want to make a commitment to yourself to make a change in your life or your lifestyle or your career, you don't need a special occasion. Tuesday at 2:30 could be your new year as far as making that commitment to yourself. I've also included a link at the bottom of this slide with information on how to really make resolutions that stick and why you should be thoughtful about that. And research proves that small incremental upgrades and changes to your lifestyle choices, your professional choices, are really the best way to build success and build momentum. So resist those resolutions, unless your resolution is to not make any more resolutions. Then I can get down with that one and support you in that decision. All right, Debbie, tell us. Oh, and if you are going to make a resolution or a commitment to upgrade, we might suggest your daily LinkedIn habit following our action plan for success.
Absolutely. Okay, so I know everybody on this call has seen or heard or said this old saying of, failing to plan equals planning to fail. It's really true when you think about it. And a couple of things to keep in mind. plan your holiday and your final quarter now. It's definitely getting on the edge of being a little late, actually. But at least get your concept together, talk about how it's going to be designed, and then start implementing. And you do want to test things out, especially if you're creating a new funnel or a new process for an existing way to do things within your company, or on your own. We know we're talking to a mix of business owners that have staffs on this webinar as well as entrepreneurs. And I'll tell you, I can vouch. My first 5 years of this company was as a solopreneur. And that's when you really have to pay attention, because it's, first of all, time flies. We all know that. And secondly, you need to get a schedule together and start planning ahead. It is the best thing you can do as an entrepreneur, in spite of how things get into warp speed. And you want to do scheduling. And scheduling means a variety of things. You want to try to be efficient with what you're doing, particularly if you're working on your own. And you want to go with what works. You want to review previous campaigns and promotions. Again, reflecting on what Davey's already pointed out, you want to assess what has been done already and move from there by making different tweaks and improvements. Take a look at, of course, your bottom line, your revenue, what's working, what isn't, what had the best return, and then go from there. There is something new that we've started to focus on, and that's corporate social responsibility. Because, simple reason, I think, thank you, Davey. We have really noticed a switch in consumer mindset. People are looking at what companies stand for, what their values are, and they're really weighing that right in there with all of the other components of making a decision to buy. People are weighing in what the company's values are, just as equal to the price differences between competition. And it's worth paying attention to, because the big companies that are doing it right are making headlines. And, we keep coming across more companies that are doing this and paying attention to the corporate social responsibility component of their business. And we're going to highlight one each time that we do a webinar, because we want people to start paying attention to this. So corporate social responsibility is a big deal. We're actually getting our plan together for 2023. Davey doesn't know about that yet. Okay, next slide, please. And yes, I'm going to say this. You do want to automate. And anyone that knows me knows that I am wicked against automation of any type. However, there are times when you really need to look at the benefit. And as long as you are not violating a LinkedIn user agreement, I think automation is fine. And particularly when it comes to posting. We hear this battle cry all the time. I don't have time for social media. There are a load of platforms out there that you can use to make your life a little easier, particularly if you are focused on several platforms for social media. And again, I'm going to remind everyone, you don't have to be everywhere. You need to be where your customers are. And that's really, taking a look at social media. I have not dipped my toe into TikTok yet. I don't know if we will. But that's the first one that comes to mind that everyone's jumping on right now. And I'm not right now. So I might change that tune later. But right now, we're focused on where our clients are. Our clients 100% are on LinkedIn. And that's where most of our time is spent. So the point is, plan ahead and use these different scheduling tools to help you be more efficient with your planning. We've got personal experience with Canva. Davey uses it frequently for a lot of things, besides doing a wonderful design work on banners, LinkedIn banners for your profile. She's an ace at that. It's one of our services. But we've been using Constant Contact for years. We've been using Eventbrite for years. All of these different platforms have scheduling tools now, which is really cool. It means they're paying attention to helping you be more efficient as well. And Davey is going to tell us a little bit more about leveraging your network.
Fantastic. So tip number 6, leverage your network. Remember, we're talking about assessing, planning, executing, assessing, and planning. So take a look at your network. There are over 850 million members on LinkedIn, and it seems like as no sooner have Debbie and I updated all of our materials with the latest LinkedIn number than it's time to change the number again. So today's number is 850 plus million. Tomorrow's number will be higher, because LinkedIn is growing so quickly. You know, it is the #1 business professional social media platform. I want you to think about your entire network, though. We spoke earlier about tracking your connections and your followers, but let's talk about the expanse of that network. Your first, not just first connections, first level, but second, third plus, and then the members of groups that you belong to. It's important to keep that concept out there, most importantly because using keyword searches, if I don't know your name, the only way I can find you is if you are in my extended network. Okay, we have to be connected through first, second, third, or group membership. So even if you don't engage with any groups, go ahead and join one. Harvard Business Review is a multi-million member group. It's going to give you a lot of access to people that are not in degrees 1, 2, and 3. But look at the entirety of your network. I'm going to send a text string, a Boolean search string to you in the follow-up materials, just as a proof of concept. LinkedIn used to give us this number, how big our whole network was. It doesn't anymore. It wants you to upgrade and pay for more statistics. But if you just search for the word and, the, a period and a space, a comma and a space, those are search strings that are going to be in almost everybody's profile. So search for that and look at the people. It's going to show you how big your network. My whole network now is in the 800 million number. I'm so close. I'm so close to being connected to everyone, which was the original concept at LinkedIn, right? We're all connected on this little blue ball in space. Take a look at that entire network. Search your network for resources. What do you need, and who in your network can provide that for you? Debbie and I are big fans of the all filters function, and our favorite drill downs are industry and title. So if you are looking for decision makers in the C-suite for landscaping companies, you can put that in there. The industries listing now has been expanded from LinkedIn, hundreds and hundreds of industry options. That's the best way to mine your own network. You don't need to rely on LinkedIn's recommendations for who they think you should connect with. You can go to your own expanse of network and find the right next people. Take a look at those second level connections and who your mutual connection is. And if you have a strong enough relationship with one of those mutual connections, that's going to be a first level connection. Reach out to them and ask for an introduction, or find that synergy with that second level person, reach out to them, connect, and personalize that invitation to connect. That's okay to have a template for, hi, Davey, I see that we share some professional synergies. Let's connect, please, and expand our networks. Best wishes, Davey. Super simple and easy. But by personalizing it, it's going to be 5 times more likely to be accepted. And bringing just one person into your network can expand the entire network by hundreds of thousands of connections. It's truly amazing to see how your entire network can grow by just one connection. For example, if you aren't connected to Debbie yet, I don't know what you're waiting for, people. Debbie has over 13,000 first level connections. Imagine the expanse of her second and third level with that many direct connections. Bring Debbie into your network and you bring all of that with her. Okay, into your network. You're going to have millions and millions and millions and millions, tens of millions of additional people to connect with by just bringing someone like Debbie into your network. All right, number 7, be realistic. Oh, that's kind of funny after I just told you to add millions and millions and millions of people. We want you to be realistic with this time of year. There are a lot of competing priorities, probably more than at any other time of the year. Even if your fiscal year and the calendar year don't line up, even if their fiscal quarters and the calendar quarters don't quite line up, it's the holidays, okay? Labor Day is next weekend. You're going to walk into Walgreens and there's going to be Christmas displays up, okay? And oh yeah, Halloween, and oh yeah, Thanksgiving, and oh yeah, Veterans Day, but it's going to be the holiday barrage is going to start shortly. Resist the temptation to get sucked into all that energy unless it provides you with stimulation. If it stresses you, stay focused, okay? Look at your goals. A goal without a deadline is hope, and hope is not a business strategy, okay? I love this SMART goals tool. It's a way to really make sure that your goals are doing the job for you that you need them to do. Are they specific? Are they measurable? How are you going to know when you've reached your goals? Are they achievable? Is it actually something that can be accomplished? Me landing on the moon by the end of January is not achievable. It's not going to happen. Is it realistic? That's not realistic either. Achievable and realistic are different. I may end up on the moon someday. Just not going to happen next month. Okay, on my way to Mars. And then timely. You want to set a timeline. The best motivator is a deadline. I learned that from Debbie. She has that on her desk, on a little placard on her desk. So using the SMART criteria, I think, there you go. Using the SMART criteria, I think, is a super easy way to make sure that you're on track with your goal setting. If your goal setting's not good, your strategy's not, your tactics not going to be maybe as strong as they could be, your execution won't be, and then your results. And then a lot of us go and we just start over again. Really take that moment to assess, go back and look at what worked and what didn't work and tweak. There's no need to recreate the wheel every time you try something, okay? So take a look at the SMART acronym for goal setting. See if you can apply it to your approach and reap better rewards. All right, and finally, at this time of year, invest in yourself, okay? Especially in this season of giving, we should give from our excess. You need to fill your own cup and then give to others. That's why they say put your mask on first before helping someone else, okay? We talked about balancing these competing priorities, and there's a lot of them any day of the week, and there will be a lot of them come calendar year end. If it's also your fiscal year end, holiday seasons are coming, end of year inventories, and getting ready for tax season. You can't do any of it if you're burned out. All right, so you need to take care of yourself. Take a digital detox, even if it's just to take a walk. Go walk around a lap on your neighborhood and come back without any digital interference. If you can keep your phone, your TV out of your bedroom at night, if you can keep your phone off of your dining room table at when you're eating with your family, take a digital detox. Focus on time with friends and family. You know, you've all seen that adage, at the end of our lives, are we going to wish we'd spent more time at work? Probably not. We're going to wish that we had spent more time with our friends and family and on our relationships, okay? Work-life balance, I'm going to start calling this a life-work balance, because I think life-work is a better way to articulate it. Work-life still puts work important, and we don't live to work, we work to live. And there's more to it. There's work, there's family, there's friends, and then there's yourself. Take care of yourself. And maybe, just maybe, you'll be able to find that balance that we're suggesting you seek for this time of year. And plan a vacation. And this is when we're actually going to tell you, I need that face again. Oh, Debbie Weems, the original OG DW of DW Consulting Solutions, is taking a vacation, and not just a couple of days off. Debbie is taking a 2-week vacation, everybody. Can we just get a round of applause? It's going to be okay, because all of this work will be here when you get back, Debbie. I promise. It's not going anywhere. Um, I've never seen anybody work as hard as I see Debbie work. She hustles, and as a master networker, during the pandemic, not being able to be out and about with the people was really, really hard. And Debbie's been hitting it hard, getting back on the road and getting back out there. But she's actually going to take some time for herself. We're trying to practice what we preach. They say you teach the things that you need to learn. And so with that being said, Debbie's going to take a vacation. So yay, Debbie, I'm so proud of you.
Yes, it will happen. And Davey's going to be taking up the slack while I'm gone. Anyway, it is so important to take a break, and I just hope I can come back. Just kidding.
I have to come back too.
So I'll get to a couple of questions in a second, but save the date. November 30th is our final webinar of 2022. It'll be at noon. And we're going to talk about having a grateful mindset and how gratitude equals abundance. And you're going to want to tune into that one. And again, our policy always is if you register for our webinars, whether you attend or not, you will get the replay link for the webinar, the slides, and we usually throw in a couple of extra reference documents depending on what the subject was about. Okay, real quick, I am going to get Adam. Thank you for your wonderful vision. Adam and I met through Clubhouse, I think, long ago, and I'm not on Clubhouse anymore. But anyway, Adam's got some great insights in the chat box. But I want to tell you that, let's see, Omnir had asked about the power of sharing. If you share someone else's post, please, please, please don't just hit share and let it fly. Tell your network why you're sharing the post. And the LinkedIn algorithm, the almighty, they love engagement. So if you can add a sentence or two about why you're sharing, what you're sharing, that is going to reach out further in your network. LinkedIn will help push it out further if you do that, rather than just hit share and let it fly without any introduction. And who else? Yes, we need to work to live. Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm getting a couple of personal chats here, and Yes, thank you for embracing my idea of taking a vacation. Literally, I love road trips. I'm going to drive to New England for my 51st high school reunion. Woohoo! And there's actually over 100 people coming, so I'm pretty excited about that. Haven't seen those faces in 51 years. Anyway, thank you again for attending. Have a little patience with us as we get our replay link together. It'll be captioned, and we want you to connect with us if you're not already. You can subscribe to our monthly newsletter, and it's all about LinkedIn for us. Visit our website, take advantage of some free downloads. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and book a complimentary 15-minute profile review. Someone had asked if we will give out our contact information. The next slide will show you exactly what you need to book that 15-minute consult with either Davey or I. There are no strings. We will guarantee that we find at least 2 or 3 things to give you immediate improvement to your profile. But it's a quick way to get a little extra guidance for free. These webinars are usually pretty valuable, and you can also go to the bottom of my profile under publications and review the last 6 issues of our newsletter. That will keep you busy for a while. So thank you again. Davey, any last words of wisdom?
I just want to tell everybody that we really appreciate the enthusiasm, and I see a lot of familiar names. If you haven't attended our webinars before, we just really want to thank you for taking a chance on us. And for Eduardo and a lot of folks that I recognize, thanks for supporting us month after month, year after year. We truly appreciate it. We do this because we love it. We do this because we believe in people. and because Debbie and I have had a lot of experiences and some challenges in our careers, and we want to be able to be of service to people. Of course, we're running a business here, but this business is about lifting people up. And so thanks also, Debbie, for giving me the opportunity to put this webinar series together this year and provide this content to our community. I appreciate it.
You do terrific work. Thank you back. And Beth Wagmeister, you are awesome. We are so glad to have you on board to reach out to even more people in our community and our network with what we can do. So thank you all. Wishing you all a wonderful afternoon, and we'll see you next time.
Bye now.